everyone, and welcome to Retcon Reads. This is a branch off from our main podcast, Retcon Air. Today I'm going to spend some time breaking down a novel that I've read recently, along with offering some of my personal, often selfish, opinions on what I'd like to change in the work, who I think would enjoy the work, and an overall honest review. Before we get into the meat and potatoes, I just wanted to throw this out to the universe. As within our Retcon Air podcast episodes, this is not meant to be a beatdown by any means. I'm covering a piece of writing that I've literally spent hours reading and many, many more hours thinking about because I loved it and it drew me in, obviously. So I'm not an author yet, but I hope to be one day. And I know I would never, ever, ever diss on something that I know somebody spent so much time and put so much effort into. So I hope that you guys understand that, yeah, I may say things that I would maybe want to see differently, but it's because I'm selfish and I'm a book nerd, not because I think it was done incorrectly or anything like that. So if you guys have any feedback or anything, please know I will read it and, respond to it and everything. And if there's any changes that you guys recommend, I can definitely fit those in, but it will be the first episode that I record after that one airs that you would see those on. So please do continue to reach out with all of your book recommendations and all of our discussions. I really want to have awesome discussions with you guys about these books and any books because I'm a nerd. So if all that sounds good to you, please keep listening as I break down the novel Ramses the Damned, The Passion of Cleopatra by Anne Rice and her son, Christopher Rice. This was published in November of 2017, and also, I have to say, in the episode of Retcon Air, I don't remember which episode it was, but I talked about the fact that I was reading this book, and I thought that Christopher was Anne's husband, so I'm really sorry. That's really awkward. I should have looked before I said that. Christopher Rice is her son. Also, little tidbit. This sticker here, it is from the Bookloft in German Village, Columbus, Ohio. And I normally am an absolute spaz about stickers on my books, but I left this one on there, and I leave all the Bookloft ones on there because, number one, the Bookloft is a book nerd's dream come true. So, little plug for you, Bookloft. It is a 32 or 33 room store where they have the rooms split up by genre, and honestly, they have so many books. It smells heavenly in there because it just smells like all the books, and it's just a really cool place to go if you have some time. You can even just like sit in a corner there and read a book. I mean, it's really wonderful. And so, for example, the retail price on this was $16 and I paid $5.99 for it. So I highly recommend, if you can get to the Columbus, Ohio area, go there, go to the Bookloft. It's amazing. With that, I'm going to go ahead and get into the episode. So, the summary from the back of the novel says, it begins with the heroic Egyptian pharaoh Ramses the Damned mysteriously awakened after centuries of slumber to the mystifying and dizzying world of Edwardian England. Seeking to wed the great beauty and heiress Julie Stratford, whom Ramses has given the same elixir that has rendered himself immortal. Now, with his bride-to-be, he is swept up in a fierce battle of wills against an ancient love, the exquisite and dangerous Queen Cleopatra, whose mummy he has recklessly brought back to life. As these two magnificent rulers are caught up in a furious struggle to understand the powers of the extraordinary and wondrous potion, another, more ominous spirit makes its presence known. Drawn forth from the mists of history, an ancient queen, possessor of the true origins of the elixir, who has an unrelenting fascination with the fates of Ramses II and Queen Cleopatra. The only force who can make known to these golden monarchs the key to their immortality and the secrets of the miraculous expanse of the universe. So, that summary, definitely enticing. I mean, it's just enticing. It's awesome. If you're at all interested in Egypt, in the story of Cleopatra and of Ramses, then you'll definitely, I think anyways, be drawn into this. And it definitely covers the base of the novel. However, my favorite plot point from the novel wasn't mentioned in this summary. So I was a little bit disappointed in that. I don't want to spoil the novel for anyone who may decide to read it, but I'll just say that I was definitely surprised that it wasn't mentioned in the summary. That being said, I think the most exciting parts were touched on, and in the end, that's what draws people in, so I'd say this was definitely well written. My retcon point for this novel is actually really similar to the one that I had for Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. This was described as a sequel to The Mummy, written by Anne Rice. That being said, I actually have not read the novel. It's on my list. I need to. I actually don't have a copy of it. But I have watched the movie, and I know, obviously, movies differ. But I just, from my current position, I did not find that this novel was something I would consider a sequel. I found the plot to be extremely similar. And even when I described it to my husband, he immediately said, "Oh, The Mummy?" So I think I would maybe consider it more of a spin-off than a sequel, if that makes sense. I should also note that it was labeled as a sequel and also a standalone novel. I would definitely lean more towards that standalone novel, in just my personal opinion. I think anyone who is familiar with the plot of The Mummy will definitely notice the similarities between this and that. As far as recommendations go, this is a well-balanced historical horror, which I didn't know was a thing, but is actually really cool. But it's a historical horror novel that touches on history, mystery, and love and how it exists in different forms. You don't need to be an Egyptian expert to read and understand this story. Anne and her son did a really good job of explaining what the reader needs to understand to grasp, the main points of the novel. Word to the wise, though, this is fiction. I mean, obviously. Don't approach this novel Don't approach this novel as if it's going to be something extremely historically accurate, and I think you'll really enjoy it. As far as my review goes, I mentioned my love of ancient Egypt in our Retcon Air podcast episode on Star Wars The Phantom Menace. That love is what originally drew me into this novel. Actually, I was in the Bookloft, like I said, just like spending hours there, and I saw the cover. And yeah, I thought it obviously looked Egyptian, and I thought I would definitely love it. So I was initially a little disappointed when I realized that most of this story took place outside of Egypt. However, I quickly realized that Christopher and Anne wrote the magic of Egypt into the story, and they actually went even further to bring in more magic with the addition of the ancient queen that was mentioned in the summary. As far as an exciting little tidbit of information that I learned when I was kind of digging into this, so the first and the final draft of this novel were exclusively written by Christopher. He sent it to his mom to edit as she felt necessary, and she did some of the heavy lifting on the characters who were present in The Mummy. I thought it was really interesting that Christopher actually did most of the writing on this and not Anne. And also, I get why, because Anne Rice is more well known. But like, if Christopher did more of the writing, why is his name so little? Is it just because it's so much longer? Because I guess that makes sense too. Yeah, I think that's everything that I had to say about this novel. Read it, please. I think you'll like it. And if you do read it, let me know what you thought. Let me know if I wasted your time. I hope I didn't. Please listen to our main podcast, Retcon Air. You can find us on Twitter, on Facebook. You can listen to us on iTunes, on Spotify, for some reason, those are the only two that I can ever remember, but like any place that you can find podcasts, you can find us. Please check us out. Please share with your friends. Please review. And definitely leave us some feedback. We'd love to hear from you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.